to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 4th of September 2021, and the time now is 6:17 a.m. Well, today is a reading session, and we are going to continue reading the book Atomic Habits. Right, so before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go.
How to stay focused when you get bored working on your goals. After my baseball career ended, I was looking for a new sport. I joined a weightlifting teams, and one day coach, an elite coach visited our gym. He had worked with thousands of athletes during his long career, including a few Olympians. I introduced myself and we began talking about the process of improvement.
What's the difference between the best athletes and anyone else? I ask. What do the really successful people do that most don't? He mentioned the factors you might expect: genetics, luck, talents, talent. But then he said something I wasn't expecting. At some point, it comes down to who can handle the boredom of training every day, doing the same list over and over and over.
His answer surprised me because it's a different way of thinking about work ethic. People talk about getting amped up to work on their goals, whether it's business or sports or art. You, you hear people say things like, it all comes down to passions, or you have to really want it. As a result, many of us get depressed when we lose focus of motivations because we think that successful people have some bottomless reserve of passions. But this coach was saying that really successful people feel the same lack of motivation as everyone else. The difference is that they still find a way to show up despite the feelings of boredom.
Mastery requires practice, but the more you practice something, the more boring and routine it becomes. Once the beginner gains have been made and we learn what to expect, our, our interest starts to fade. Sometimes it happens even faster than that. All you have to do is hit the gym a few days in a row or publish a couple of blog posts on time, and letting one day slip doesn't feel like much. Things are going well. It's easy to rationalize taking a day off because you are in a good place.
The greatest threat to success is not failure but boredom. We get bored with habits because they stop delighting us. The outcome becomes expected as and as our habits become ordinary, we start derailing our progress to seek novelty. Perhaps this is why we get caught up in a never-ending cycle, jumping from one workout to the next, one diet to the next, one business idea to the next. As soon as we experience the slightest dip in motivations, we begin seeking a new strategy, even if the old one was still working. As Machiavelli noted, men desire novelty to such an extent that those who are doing well wish for change as much as those who are doing badly.
Perhaps this is why many of the most habit-forming products are those that provide continuous forms of novelty. Video games provide visual novelty. Porn provides sexual novelty. Junk foods provide culinary novelty. Each of these experiences offer continual elements of surprise.
In psychology, this is known as a variable reward. Slot machines are the most common real-world example. You gamble, hit the, the, the jackpot every now and then, but not at any predictable interval. Thus, the pace of rewards variance. This variance leads to the greatest spike of dopamine, enhances memory recall, and accelerates habit formation.
Okay, third line. Yeah, this one I think is varies. You pronounce as variance.
Okay, varies.
Variable rewards won't create a craving. That is, you can't take a reward people are uninterested in, give it to them at a variable interval, and hope it will change their mind. But they are a powerful way to amplify the cravings we already experience because they reduce boredom.
The sweet spot of desire occurs at the 50-50 split between success and failure. Half of the time you get what you want, half of the time you don't. You need just enough winning to experience satisfaction and just enough wanting to experience desire. This is one of the benefits of following the Goldilocks rules. If you're already interested in a habit, working on challenges of just measurable difficulty is a good way to keep things interesting.
Of course, not all habits have a variable reward component, and you won't want them to. If Google only delivered a useful search result some of the time, I would switch to a competitor pretty quickly. If Uber only pick up half of my trips, I doubt I'd be using that service much longer. And if I flushed my teeth each night and only sometimes ended up with a clean mouth, I think I'd skip it.
The first line, last second word. This is wooden, you pronounce won't.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't.
Variable rewards of not. No habits will stay interesting forever. At some point, everyone faces the same challenge on the journey of self-improvement. You have to fall in love with boredom. We all have goals that we would like to achieve and dreams that we would like to fulfill. But it doesn't matter what you are trying to become better at. If you only do the work when it's convenient or exciting, you'll never be consistent enough to achieve remarkable results.
I can guarantee that if you manage to start a habit and keep sticking to it, There will be days when you feel like quitting. When you start a business, there will be days when you don't feel like showing up. When you're at the gym, there will be sets that you don't feel like finishing. When it's time to write, there will be days that you don't feel like typing. But stepping up when it's annoying or painful or draining to do so, that's what makes the difference between a professional and an amateur.
Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. Professionals know what's important to them and work toward it with purpose. Amateurs get pulled off, of course. Amateurs get pulled off course by the urgencies of life.
David Kane, an author and meditation teacher, encourages his students to avoid being fair weather meditators. Similarly, you don't want to be a fair weather athlete or a fair weather writer or a fair weather anything. When a habit is truly important to you, you have to be willing to stick to it in any mood. Professionals take action even when the mood isn't right. They might not enjoy it, but they find a way to put the reps in.
There have been a lot of sets that I haven't felt like finishing, but, but I've never regretted doing the workout. There have been a lot of articles I haven't felt like writing, but I've never regretted publishing on schedule. There have been a lot of days I feel like relaxing, but I've never regretted showing up and working on something that was important to me.
The only way to become excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over. You have to fall in love with boredom.
Chapter summary. The Goldilocks rule states that humans experience peak motivations when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. The greatest threat to success is not failure but boredom. As habits become routines, they become less interesting and less satisfying. We get bored. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. It's the ability to keep going when work isn't exciting that makes the difference. Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way.
The downside of creating good habits. Habits create the foundation for mastery. In chess, it is only after the basic movements of the pieces have become automatic that a player can focus on the next level of the game. Each chunk of information that is memorized opens up the mental space for more effortful thinking. This is true for any endeavor. When you know the simple movements so well that you can perform them without thinking, you are free to pay attention to more advanced details. In this way, habits are the backbone of any pursuit of excellence.
However, the benefits of habit comes at a cost. At first, each repetition develops fluency, speed, and skill. But then as a habit becomes automatic, you become less sensitive to the feedback. If you fall into mindless repetitions, it becomes easier to let mistakes slide. When you can do it good enough on autopilot, you stop thinking about how to do it better.
The upside of habits is that we can do things without thinking. The downside of habits is that you get used to doing things a certain way and stop paying attention to little errors. You assume you're getting better because you're gaining experience. In reality, you are merely reinforcing your current habits, not improving them. In fact, some research has shown that once a skill has been mastered, there is usually a slight decline in performance over time.
Usually, this minor dip in performance is no cause for worry. You don't need a system to continuously improve how well you brush your teeth, or tie your shoes, or make your morning cup of tea. With habits like these, good enough is usually good enough. The less energy you spend on trivial choices, the more you can spend it on what really matters.
Yeah, the last line is trivial.
Okay, trivial.
Yeah. However, when you want to maximize your potential and achieve elite levels of performance, you need a more nuanced approach. You can't repeat the same things blindly and expect to become exceptional. Habits are necessary, but not sufficient for mastery. When you need What you need is a combination of automatic habits and deliberate practice.
Habits plus deliberate practice equal mastery. To become great, certain skills do need to become automatic. Basketball players need to be able to dribble without thinking before they can move on to mastering layups with their non-dominant hands. Surgeons need to repeat the first incisions so many times that they could do it with their eyes closed, so that they can focus on hundreds of variables that arise during surgery. But after one habit has been mastered, we have to return to the effortful part of the work and begin building the next habit.
Okay, the second line. I think this one is dribble and you pronounce as dribble.
Okay, dribble.
Mastery is the process of narrowing your focus to a tiny element of success, repeating it until you have internalized the skill, and then using these new habits as the foundation to advance to the next frontier of your development. All tasks, all tasks become easier the second time around, but it doesn't get easier overall because now you're pouring your energy into the next challenge. Each, each habit unlocks the next level of performance. It's an endless cycle.
Mastering one habit, mastering a, a field. Figure 16. The process of mastering requires that you progressively layer improvements on top of one another, each habit building upon the last until a new level of performance has been reached and a higher range of skills has been internalized.
Although habits are powerful, what you need is a way to remain conscious of your performance over time. So you can continue to refine and improve. It is precisely at the moment when you begin to feel like you have mastered a skill, right when things are starting to feel automatic and you are becoming comfortable, that you must avoid slipping into the trap of complacency.
The solutions establish a system for reflections and review, how to review your habits and make adjustments. In 1986, the Los Angeles Lakers had one of the most talented basketball teams ever assembled, but they are rarely remembered that way. The team started the 1985 to 1986 NBA season with an astounding 29-5 record. The pundits were saying that we might be the best teams in the history of basketball. Head coach had really said after the season. Surprisingly, the Lakers stumbled in the 1986 playoffs and suffered season-ending defeats in the Western Conference Finals. The best team in the history of basketball didn't even play for the NBA championship.
Yeah, fourth line, the name is Riley, and you pronounce Reedy.
Riley.
Yeah. After that blow, Riley was tired of hearing about how much talent his players had and about how much promise his team held. He didn't want to see flashes of brilliance followed by a gradual fade in performance. He wanted the Lakers to play up to their potential night after night. In the summer of 1986, he created a plan to do exactly that, a system that he called the Career Best Effort Program, or CBE.
When players first joined the Lakers, Riley explained, we track their basketball statistics all the way back to high school. I call this taking the number. We look for an accurate gauge of what a player can do, then build him into our plan for the team, based on the notions that he will maintain and then improve upon his averages.
After determining a player's baseline level of performance, Riley added a key step. He, he asked each player to improve their output by at least 1% over the course of the season. If they succeeded, it would be a CBE, or Career Best Effort, similar to the British cycling team that we discussed in Chapter 1. The Lakers sought peak performance by getting slightly better each day.
Riley was careful to point out that CBE was not merely about points or statistics, but about giving your best efforts spiritually and mentally and physically. Players got credit for allowing an opponent to run into you when you know that's a fault. will be called against him, driving for loose balls, going after rebounds whether you are likely to get them or not, having a teammate when the player he's guarding has surged past him, and other unsung hero did.
Yeah, the last line, this is unsung.
Unsung.
Yeah. An example, let's say that Magic Johnson, the Lakers' star player at the time, had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steals, and 5 turnovers in a game. Magic also got credit for an unsung hero deed by diving after a loose ball, +1. Finally, he played a total of 33 minutes in this imaginary game.
The positive numbers 11 plus 8 plus 12 plus 2 plus 1 and add up to 34. Then we subtract the 5 turnover, 34 minus 5 to get 29. Finally, we divide 29 by 33 minutes played. 29 divided by 33 equal to 0.879.
Magic's CBE number here would be 879. This number was calculated for all of a player's games, and it was the average CBE that a player was asked to improve by 1% over the season. Riley compared each player's current CBE to not only their past performance, but also all those other players in the league. As Riley put in, we rank team members alongside league opponents who play the same position and have similar role definition.
Sports writer Jackie McMullan noted Riley trumpeted the top performers in the league in both lettering on the blackboard each week and measured them against the corresponding players on his own roster. Solid, reliable players generally rated a score in the 600s, while elite players score at least 800. Magic Johnson, who submitted 138 triple-doubles in his career, often scored over 1,000.
The Lakers also emphasized year-over-year progress by making historical comparisons of CBE data. Riley said, "We stacked the month of November 1986 next to November 1985 and showed the players whether they were doing better or worse than at the same point last season. Then we showed them how their performance figures for December 1986 stack up against November's."
The Lakers rolled out CBE in October 1986. 8 months later, they were NBA champions. The following year, Pat Riley led his team to another title as the Lakers became the first team in 20 years to win back-to-back NBA championships. Afterward, he said, "Sustaining an effort is the most important thing for any enterprise. The way to be successful is to learn how to do things right, then do them the same way every time."
The CBE program is a prime example of the power of reflection and review. The Lakers were already talented. CBE helped them get the most out of what they had and make sure their habits improved rather than declined.
The first line, the third word is program. You pronounce program.
Oh, okay. Program.
Reflections and review enables the long-term improvement of all habits because it makes you aware of your mistakes and helps you consider possible paths for improvement. Without reflections, we can make excuses, create rationalizations, and lie to ourselves. We have no process for, for determining whether we are performing better or worse compared to yesterday.
Yeah, all right.
Mm.
Okay, so I try making a summary.
Mm.
Yeah, firstly, the writer bring out a terms that boredoms will come after certain amount of repetition. And then, yeah, for here, it also points out that people that are more successful, they may not have the so-called more or higher level of passion, which is continuous. Yep. So basically, everybody feels the same. Yeah. If you are very successful, though, you may also feel boredom if you keep repeating doing something. So in short, more repetition, more boredom. So yeah, it seems like it just want to raise our awareness, and then whatever we try to do, we still need to face it, and then deal with the boredom, accept it, and then yeah, also one terms come out which is so-called the variable reward, and then the writer link these variable rewards to a terms he said previously, which is the Goldilocks rule. Um, and then for this one, yeah, uh, I think it suggests that we try to take challenges, and then the challenges, if I didn't make it wrong, it is like 4% or 3%. Um, it doesn't matter, and 4% more than our ability. So we will feel like it is challenging, and when we do it, we get the rewards. And this reward, I think, it can be also called variables reward, because it is not repeating the same thing. Yeah, you are trying something new, and the reward you get must be a little bit different. So in this case, it will help to increase our motivation, and then the writer also mentioned that if one guy didn't like this particular thing, this may not help. Yeah, these variable rewards may not help. But it did help when a person is uh, previously uh, enjoy doing a particular thing, and then because of boredom, make him maybe feel maybe because of repetition, make him feel bored. And if it is because of this, then variable rewards may help. Yep. And then yeah, last before and they are examples of the NBA team, Los Angeles Lakers. And then um, for that example, it want to raise our awareness that instead of repeat a habit blindly, we need to be aware that we need to review and also kind of do some reflections to look into what we did, how well we do, because repetitions can help us to do something automatically, but at the same time, it also uh, it will also ignore how good we do something because we kind of doing it without thinking. So if something that is need to be improved, not all things, but to those particular things needed to be improved, we need to review and then not to fall into like a trap, like a trap, which mentioned by the writer. The trap is something like you feel enough, you feel maybe kind of comfortable zone or something like that. And then this example also linked to previous example, which is the cycling championship for UK, which to improve a little every day. Yeah, these are my summary.
Yeah, in this reading section, there's one sentence which surprised me, and actually this is a very important thing. It reveals some reality. It mentioned that the professionals will put themselves on the things every day, every time, even though they feels they feel they are not in the games. Yeah, but amateurs will pull off cause emergencies. Yeah, and let me find the correct slides. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it is maybe I can search. Yeah, never mind. I couldn't search because this file is too lag.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, never mind. And why I think this is a very important thing, because there are many people that they try to form a habit and they keep stopped by the emergency tasks. So what does it mean? It actually means that emergency tasks may not be that emergency. You can plan for the emergency before it happens. You can have a plan. You can like raise the awareness and have the awareness that the emergency may arrive, and when the emergency comes and disturbs and take your time, so make it couldn't do the habit, what should you do? Yeah, so professional will never miss it twice. Yeah, even though there's a really emergency task that disturbs them, yeah, they never miss it twice. But amateurs will just miss twice and then miss for the next, and then they totally forget the habit. Yeah, and give up the habit. Yeah, so this is something very important to us, and it also emphasize the importance of make the habits easy. Yeah, not only the habits itself, not only the things we are doing is easy, we need to make the process easy to start, and the 2 minutes rules. And also never miss it twice. Yeah. So if you make the habits very difficult to start, that means you didn't try to uh, integrate the 2 minutes rule, 2 minutes rules into your habit formation or habit breaking, and you'll find very difficult to start, and you don't want to do it. You just don't want to do it. Because to start the habit requires a huge self-controlling ability every time. Yeah. So this is the first thing. And emergencies always comes to us. Yeah. So when the emergency really comes to us, maybe the emergency is not that it's not that urgent, but we will persuade ourselves, we will rationalize, yeah, this is an emergency. So we skip the habits and we do we go for the emergency, and next time maybe we persuade ourselves to continue the habits. Yeah, but if repeated these few times, you will give up the habit very easily. Yeah, but the professional will remember to make the habits easy to start, and not only that, if they really have the emergency, yeah, so the emergency must be really urgent, so it can disturb them. Yeah, because they don't require the huge self-controlling ability to start the habit. Yeah, so they are less likely to rationalize themselves to skip the habit, to skip one day. And also the next thing is they remember that never miss it twice. Yeah, never miss it twice. So this is difference between professional and amateurs. Amateur pull off cause emergency.
Yep.
And the next thing is when the author discussing about the good habits, and good habit have its limitation. I mean, habit forming has its limitation. And the author mentioned one thing: if you keep doing the things and repeatedly, and you will just do it good enough, and you may lose the sense to keep improving. Yeah, and it remind me something which is about the experience. No matter it's a working experience, no matter it is some other experience, and if you repeat 1 year's things 5 times, accumulate, you spend 5 years on the task. It's just you have the you do the things. Yeah, you're very familiar with the things for a very long time. Yeah, you're very familiar with the things. Yeah, but it is unlike you have really 5 years experience of doing the particular task, and and also have faced different scenario, different circumstances, different obstacles, different problems, and then you try to solve it. Yeah. So some people say they have 10 years working experience, but is it really a 10 years experience, 10 years working experience, or they just have 1 year's experience and then repeat 5 times? And repeat 10 times. Yeah, this is a huge difference. Yeah, for example, teacher, and you can say, I teach students for 10 years. So I only teach one student, and I teach 10 years. So can you say you have 10 years experience, 10 years teaching experience? So we not only need to look at the quantity, we also need to look at the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you only teach one student for 10 years, the quality is not better than you teach 100 students every year, and then you teach for 10 years. So you teach maybe 100 students times 10 years. Yeah. So this is different, and this is one thing. And the next thing is about the passion. And the author also mentioned that some people say, yeah, some people don't feel bored because they have extra extra self-controlling ability, or maybe extra passion. They have an extra energy, so they are able to work on the things. Yeah, so they are able to put a lot of time, put their effort on the things for very, very long periods. They don't feel bored. But this is not true. And the author say, this is not because they have a lot of passion. This is just they know how to deal with the boredom. Yeah. So at here we also can know that passion is not only, it's not the only things. It's not the only things that lead us to success. And also the author also say, yeah, some people say, you need to know what you really want. Yeah. So all of these things is related to passions, but according to a success formula is belief plus hard work plus passion. So passion is not the only things. Yeah, you still need to combine with other things. Let's say the hard work. Yeah, you need deliberate practice. And also in the self-improvement, the author also give one formula, which is mastery. Mastery equal habit plus deliberate practice. Yeah. So in order to bring our skill up to the next level, we need the deliberate practice. Yeah, we can't just rely on habits. And the author also mentioned that when we already good enough on a particular habits, and then we can still keep improve. And when we improve, and then the old habits becomes the backbone of your whole skills of the particular skill set of a particular things. And now because you move to the next level, so you need to build a new habit, a more advanced habit. Yeah. And then so it also combined with the deliberate practice, and then make it to become habits. Yeah, make it to become habits. And then so now you have the second level habits. Now so it is similar to, let's say, for example, you want to do meditation, and initially you plan to do 5 minutes. So you are good enough at doing 5 minutes meditation. Yeah, and then you decided to up to another level. Let's say you do 10 minutes, and maybe after 10 minutes you do 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes you do 20 minutes, like that. Or maybe at the beginning you only do in the morning, and then after some time you are good enough at doing morning, and then you try to do it in afternoon and also at night. Yeah. So, and for example, like the gymming, the weightlifting. Initially, you are able to lift the weight, and if you want to improve, you don't want to let the habit just good enough. You need to keep improving, and so that you can lift a higher you can lift a heavier weight. Yeah, and this is also one thing. And then the last thing is about the review. Yeah, and review is important. So yeah, but because this review we just read in the halfway. Yeah, we just read it halfway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is my summary.
Yeah.
Hey, anything else?
Yeah, I think no for today.
Okay. So that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Did you enjoy our conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversation. And we are not native speakers. If you found any vocal mistake that we made, please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.